Welcome to Coleman Report Live. I'm Bob Coleman. We're talking Main Street and the small business lenders who help it grow. Lance and Katie, good you. Good you. Good you. Good to see you. Good day to you. And National Donut Day for those of you who are so inclined. And here are the stats. 7A, for the last 10 years, we had 871 loans for $228 million, paid in full. We're a third of them. Charge-offs about 5% by number, by 3%. Remember that those are for all 10 years. So if you annualize them, it's about it's under the 1% that we want to see. Correct, Lance?
Absolutely, Bob. A donut shop can be a great opportunity. Now, the paid in full percentage tells me, Bob, that most of the donut shops are equipment and inventory loans.
Yes.
A lot of equipment and inventory loans, but even during the pandemic, Bob, donut shops didn't miss a beat.
That's right. That's right. So anyway, I thought you'd get a kick.
At least, Bob, my donut shop didn't miss.
Yeah. And there's the 504. 504, obviously real estate. There's only 38 of those over the last 10 years. I guess I've seen a couple standalone, back in the day it was Winchell's, Lance. I don't see too many standalone donut shops out there.
Most are end caps and little strip shopping centers. And so donut shop lending is going to be a lot of equipment and inventory loans, but a good category.
Yeah. Anyway, I thought you'd get a kick out of that. Let's go to the news. Number one, according to the United States Treasury, PPP has saved 9.3 million United States of American jobs. Katie, what is the time frame? This is over the last year, I assume. What's the time frame?
I believe that's correct. I think the study itself came out, though, in December, so this probably isn't including PPP 2.0 yet.
Lance, you have a 50-50 shot. Lance, what's your answer?
I'm going to say I would have thought it was more.
Very good, Lance. We got him. Double it. 18.6 million is the answer.
And I'm sure that number is probably going to raise because, like I said, this is a December study that the Treasury was looking at, and that was before we had the second or this more recent round of PPP. So definitely probably some more jobs there. Of course, we were looking at a lot more sole proprietors and things like that, but some of them did have a few employees, and we did see a large category of that new round was 1 to 10 employees or so. So that definitely is going to add a few more to that number.
Yeah, so the reason we were going to break it out, I said people don't understand that. Let's just go with, I have a hard time understanding the difference between 10 and 20 million. I can't grasp that other than it's a lot. And I think that's what we're trying to show here is that, and we'll talk about that a little bit later with another report, that PPP, while it was the old Winston Churchill line, Lance and Katie, capitalism is a terrible form of government, but it's the best we got. So anyway, number two, have you had a borrower who's where the bookkeeper ripped off the business? This is a recurring theme. We're going to talk about it today for Fraud Friday. And it's a theme that we should all be concerned about because you can have someone that takes down the business. At a minimum, oh, wow. I'm sorry to see that. 2/3, Lance.
Yeah, I'm not surprised by that, Bob. Although having been a former small business owner, nobody got into my checkbook but me.
Well, in this case study, Katie's going to talk about is the borrower is suing the bank, saying, "Hey, you should have known what was going on." I don't know the details of the case, but so not only do you have a business that could be going out of business, you're going to have some legal fees.
Yeah, I'm not sure how lucky they'll be with that litigation. Small business owners, that's why you want active small business owners that are involved in the day-to-day details of the small business. And nothing's more important in the small business than the checkbook.
And put on your financial consulting hat. They don't need to hire consultants. But again, I'm a big fan of the SBDCs. Get them over to that. The classes, SCORE, the local office, SBDC. I mean, they charge outrageous fees, Lance. I think they're in double digits what they charge for a 2-hour seminar.
The seminar. Now, they do charge for training, Bob, but they do not charge for the consultation.
Yeah, but the training, I think I've seen like a whole $25, right? It's not.
Yeah, the cost for training is minimal, and especially when you look at what they provide.
Yeah, so if you're dealing with an entrepreneur who has a deficiency, well, the classic case is where I have this great idea. I'm going to start doing business with South Africa, with China, with whatever. That's an easy one. Get yourself to the expert center and talk to them. They're the experts, and they'll tell you what to do. So same thing. You may have an entrepreneur. The classic one is he or she is a great chef, and they know how to do that, but their accounting skills lack. So we want to make sure that, and their managerial skills are a little suspect. That's why Lance Sexton loves franchises at times.
I do, Bob, but I always like to ask my small business borrowers to tell me who their team is, Bob. You know, if they're not skilled at bookkeeping, who's their CPA?
Right.
You know, if they're not skilled at marketing, who's them? I want to know who's their team, and then not necessarily employees. It could be service providers, but I want to know who's on the team.
I still think we're in an environment. There's nothing wrong with giving them 3 names and say, hey, go check these people out. Do you still do that, Lance? Or yeah,
at times, yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunately everything now is different than it used to be in the old days. But you want to make sure all those bases are covered one way or the other. Let's see. Let's go to. We always like to ask this question. Were you an SBA lender during the Great Recession? And if I have to tell you the years, and just put no. What are we saying, Lance? 2008, 2009? Are we going to 2010?
2008, probably 2011.
Oh, well, okay. But the no's creeping up, so 1/3 of our audience is new. So that's why we do this show, and that's why sometimes no question is a dumb question. If we throw out acronyms, you don't know what they are, please shoot us over a chat or a question and say, what the hell are you talking about? Because
Bob, I was not a lender during the Great Recession. I worked at SBA during the Great Recession.
We probably should have rephrased it. Were you involved in the SBA lending program during the, I think I can't ask, were you 30 years old or less? I don't want to do that. But very good. So Katie, a couple people have come out about PPP. The initial votes are in. What has your research discovered?
Yeah, so this is a quote here from Bill Briggs, which up until January, he was the SBA Office of Capital Access's Associate Administrator. And what he's saying is that the PPP program really did permanently change the face of SBA. It's changed how they approach, especially small businesses in more rural areas, small businesses that are maybe at a higher risk. It's changed their mission, and you're seeing a focus in Congress on this, as well as they have focused more and more on small businesses owned and operated by minorities, women, veterans, things like that. And I definitely think he's right on saying this. There is the new focus and a new, they're really just focusing on that now, and they're changing a lot of their operations to reflect that. And I think in the future, there's definitely going to be more programs with set-asides and more of an emphasis on those particular lending categories.
Well, and also all general lending as well. When was the quote, and what is your source?
This quote Joseph picked up, so I'm not sure.
Joseph, I think this is a recent quote, right, Joseph?
Correct. Yes, it's a Wall Street.
Yeah, I think Wall Street
Journal article from last week.
Okay, yeah, we normally don't like to cover Wall Street Journal stuff because we assume you read it, but when it's this specific, I think it's important to reinforce it. And this is interesting. ICBA, I haven't heard this term before, so go ahead, tell us what a PPP bridge is.
I'm not aware of this at all. I'm sorry.
We'll go to the next slide. We'll help you out here. There it is. So we're saying provided a bridge to help small businesses move forward. I like that.
Well, I think what they're talking about, Bob, is it was a tool to keep businesses open and operating for a short period of time. That's the bridge to hopefully get in a better situation, which most small businesses are now getting there. But I think that's what ICBA is referring to.
No, absolutely. And what they're saying, what Rebecca, who I have not had the pleasure of meeting, what she's saying is there's going to be a lot of studies of this. There'll be a lot of postmortem analysis studies just as after the Great Recession. But the real concept was the bridge. So her early vote is, hey, this is successful, this worked. And Lance, we don't usually like to and then I'm sorry, I looked at this. I lost my train of thought. I apologize. But we looked at 2008, 2009, and we said it went to Wall Street, and now this is going to Main Street. The early returns are that, and Lance, you always said, hey, what would we look like today if we didn't have PPP?
Oh, the unemployment rate would be astronomical. The business closure rate would be significant. Banks would be hiring liquidation employees left and right. It would be a very different, it'd be a very different play, economy, small business economy.
Yeah, so I'm very interested in that. What distracted me was Sam said, Bob, most of the classes we have at our SBDC are free of charge. I stand corrected.
Very nice.
On the $25 charge. I was trying to help you guys out.
Maybe, Bob, that was just me when I ran the SBDC. I like training income.
Well, I know their budgets are, one of the nice things that would happen on that, I know the SBDC's got to push in their budgets from all this legislation to help outreach and whatever. All right, Katie, Fraud Friday. What did our friend Irene do and what was the fallout?
Yeah, so in this particular case, we're looking at another bookkeeper fraud case, which we've looked at before. I even linked a few in the article. If you've read my article this morning, it was not even all of the articles we've covered on bookkeepers, but this private law firm in San Antonio is the most recent victim of the scheme. Basically, what happened is you've got this financial manager, bookkeeper, who came in, and she was very knowledgeable. She worked legitimately for about a year for the company, and then things went downhill from there. She began taking the credit cards that she was supposed to be issuing to the attorneys and using them herself. When attorneys left the company, she would, instead of getting rid of those credit cards, she would again begin using those. So between about three cards, she racked up about $1.2 million in credit, which she used. And that went on for close to, I believe, about 8 years of her doing this slowly. Then in 2018, she kind of added to that scheme by also starting to make small withdrawals. She made about 200 withdrawals, equaling an estimated $417,000 in total until that was actually discovered more recently. So in total, we're looking at around $1.7 million that she stole from her employer. And what she was doing was she knew what the company's financials looked like. She knew that they would just glance over her work, and she was able to make it appear as though all of this was just vendor payments and things like that. So really, the problem comes about is that whoever was running the business, whoever owns this business, should have been looking over her work to see if those were legitimate vendor payments and things like that. And it's a huge problem. You're seeing a lot of small businesses become victim to this type of scheme where usually it results in millions of dollars in losses, and sometimes it even results in the business closing.
Yeah, well, and also now you have these entrepreneurs, in this case, the lawyer. Notice the trend: long-time employee, trusted employee, and a lot of white collar, medical dentist practice, law firms, a lot of firms like that, where you would assume they would have some controls, but they don't. And so it's long-time employees, and that's a trend where they're doing. But to finish the thought, Lance, so the problem is now you have the owners of the company, the managing law firm, but they're consumed by this, and they're not out there they're working the problem, they're not working the business.
That's exactly right. And you will see this in medical practices, legal practices, where you have professionals that don't really know the dynamics of the business operation, but are exceptional in their field. But it doesn't matter what type of small business you're in, there has to be accountability and people paying attention to the money going in and out. And it looks like she was using this as a loan fund for her husband's outdoor lighting business, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah, it's too bad. Anyway, very good. Let's see, Lance, what are we talking about? 31 days past due. How do we fix it? What do we do?
Well, I think it's important for all of us, and you guys hear me preach this all the time, but I think servicing and liquidation are not only are they important today, but they're going to be more important as we go forward. 11, 12 payments have stopped, and businesses are going to have to perform and make those payments. So we'll see rising delinquencies, and we have to know what to do with an SBA loan to be compliant with the SOP 5057-2 and servicing and liquidating that delinquent loan.
Well, very good. And everyone, enjoy your weekend. We'll see you Monday. And thank you for joining us today for Coleman Report Live and for supporting America's Main Street, one donut shop at a time.
Have a great day.